there are 3 simple ways for you to lose visceral fat, improve insulin sensitivity without any crazy workouts, without any crazy diets. And in today's video, we're gonna cover exactly how you can apply those and why you should apply those. 2 things are related, insulin and visceral fat. If you have more insulin, you're gonna store more body fat, therefore you're gonna have more visceral fat. If you learn how to control your insulin levels, inevitably you're gonna have less visceral fat. And when I talk about insulin, insulin is not bad. What it's bad is excessive insulin in your body, because people nowadays are relying on carbs and they have a lot of insulin in their bodies, insulin spikes, constantly eating, snacking, and this leads to high insulin levels. That means you're going to store more fat. So the goal is not to eliminate insulin. Everyone needs insulin. Insulin is not bad. The goal is for you to understand how to use insulin wisely, when you should be spiking insulin, because there are certain times of the day where it's actually beneficial to spike insulin and when it's not beneficial to spike insulin. And in today's video, you're going to understand exactly the 3 things that you can do for you to improve insulin sensitivity and get rid of visceral fat. So the first thing that you can start applying is drinking apple cider vinegar before meals. You can mix 1 or 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar with a large glass of water and do it 5, 10, perhaps even 15 minutes before the meals. Also make sure that it's raw apple cider vinegar, because not all apple cider vinegar is made the same. So make sure that it's raw apple cider vinegar. You just mix 1 tablespoon with a glass of water. You drink that before the meal. What's going to happen is that that's going to minimize insulin spike from the meal that you're going to have. Apple cider vinegar can reduce insulin spikes by up to 20%. It also slows digestion, and what it makes is basically glucose will be absorbed slightly slower in your body. So, because if you break the fast with carbs, you're going to massively spike your insulin. But if you drink apple cider vinegar before meals, a glass of water, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, then you mix it, you drink before the meal, you're going to minimize insulin spike. Besides that, apple cider vinegar activates MPK, which basically improves insulin sensitivity. So start getting this habit of drinking apple cider vinegar with water before meals, or at least before your main meals, before lunch, before dinner. The second thing, and this is absolutely my favorite and the easiest one for you to implement, which is simply change the order of the food. So you have protein, carbs, and fats. So usually what people do is they eat first the carbs and then the protein. You want to change the order. You want to eat first protein and fats and leave carbs to after protein and fats. And especially with protein, what happens is that when you eat protein, you activate what is called GLP-1, which basically satiates you. If you eat protein first, you're going to activate this GLP-1. What it means is that you're not going to crave as many carbs as you're going to be craving if you start eating with carbs. Because if you eat carbs, you spike your insulin and you're not going to feel satisfied. You're just going to eat more and more and more. And the order that you place food is very important. So start with protein. Fill up with protein, activate GLP-1, which is a satiety hormone. You're going to feel good. And after that, after you eat the protein, then you can eat carbs, because you're not going to crave as much carbs as if you didn't have any protein. And what I'm saying here is that you can have the exact same foods. You just need to change the order. I'm not even telling you to eliminate your favorite foods. You can have those foods as long as you have the protein first. So what's going to happen with this is that by having protein first, carbs will go to your bloodstream way slower. And carbs is the macronutrient that promotes insulin spike. Now, when we talk about insulin, it's not necessarily bad. Insulin is a storage hormone, and everyone has insulin. You need to have insulin. The thing is that being a storage hormone, what it means is that you're going to accumulate more fat if you're constantly spiking your insulin. So if you learn how to manage your insulin spikes and your insulin levels, you're going to lose fat more effectively. So in order for you to achieve this, you want to have carbs less often and placed after protein ideally, so that you minimize that insulin spike. Because if you're always eating and every time you start your meal, you start with carbs, you spike your insulin and then you crash, insulin spike, then a crash, and you're going to be tired, you're going to feel lethargic, and you're going to accumulate also more fat. So just change the order of the foods, eat protein and fiber first, or even fats, and leave carbs to later. And the third one, which is an absolutely game changer, is to simply walk 10 to 15 minutes after meals. And I've been saying this for years and years. And as you see, all of this that I told you doesn't require any expensive stuff. It's literally free. Put an alarm every time you eat. So for example, if you're eating 2 times a day, or if you're eating 3 times a day, put an alarm so that at least 10 to 15 minutes after the meal, you go for a walk. And when I say walk, you don't need to go, if it's, I don't know, if it's snowing, if it's super hot or something, like you don't need to go outside, but at least move 10 minutes, do a couple of squats or some push-ups, or just move around, do something. Just don't sit on the sofa scrolling or watching TV. Make sure you move, because this 10-minute movement after the meal, what is going to happen is it's going to improve gastric emptying, which is going to facilitate digestion, and it's going to decrease your glucose levels as well. And this is massive. And what's happening is that by moving your body, you're activating your muscles, and your muscles are like a sponge. So if you're activating your muscles after the meal, those muscles will kind of absorb better the glucose than if you're sitting. Because if you're sitting, the food will be on your stomach, then you're going to have insulin spike, then you're going to feel crash, you're going to feel tired. And by moving, you're activating your muscles. So basically you're activating this sponge that will absorb the glucose and make use of it. So you're going to improve your digestion, you're going to improve your insulin, your glucose, you're going to improve your energy levels, you're not going to feel the energy crash. So face this as metabolic hygiene. It's not a cardio, it's not structured cardio, it's an habit, okay? It's an habit. So simply do that. 10-minute walk after meal. If you have 3 meals, you have a 10-minute walk after meals, you have 30 minutes of walk there. So super important. And besides the benefit of gastric emptying, lower glucose and insulin levels, it will help you decrease cortisol levels as well. What it means is that putting together two of the main benefits, which is you improve insulin sensitivity, you decrease cortisol, and also this will lead to better sleep later in the day. Because for example, if you have dinner and if you just sit, the food will be there, it's going to interfere with your REM sleep, deep sleep. So by going for a walk, you improve your digestion, and this will lead to better REM sleep, better deep sleep, which are the restorative phases of your sleep. It's not rocket science. These 3 things that I told you, you're going to see a massive difference within 4, 6, 8, 12 weeks. Number 1, apple cider vinegar before meals. Big glass of water, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 10 to 15 minutes before your meals. Number 2, change the order of the food. Protein and fiber first, and fats as well. Leave carbs to later on. It will activate your satiety hormones. GLP-1, you're going to feel satiated. That means you're going to crave less carbs. That means you're going to eat way less carbs than if you just start eating carbs straight away. And number 3, 10 to 15 minute walk after meal, decreases your cortisol levels, improves insulin levels as well, decreases your glucose, and improves your digestion as well. Apply these 3, you're going to feel a massive difference in your energy levels. You're going to start losing visceral fat, love handles, and you're going to improve all your metabolic markers. As you see, you don't lose visceral fat by punishing yourself with more cardio, more HIIT classes, more workouts, and more starvation. You lose visceral fat by implementing certain lifestyle habits that are sustainable. Because as you see, what I told you, it's not a fad diet. It's not something that you do for 2 or 3 weeks and then you get tired of it. Like, it's sustainable, right? Before the meal, apple cider vinegar. Change the order of the food. Walk 10 minutes after meal. This is sustainable. And sustainability is key for long-term results. Now apply these 3 and see your visceral fat levels decrease. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the next one.